into that left-hand corridor again, and Cobbo has slipped. Hines behind Lomax and Talangi, and the hammer is there again.
Welcome to Little Birdie TV. I'm your host Scoot, and we're about to chat all things AFL and Rugby League on Thursday Lines. We'll go first down to Melbourne. MG had a bit of a party in headquarters last night, celebrating the Maroons' win up and about.
Yeah, Toprope was very excited. I love the call when it's chips all in, so it was, great delivery. So, just had a few of the Little Birdie compadres around, and, it was a good little evening. It was very loud, though, Scoot. Lucky we've got no neighbours down here.
Outstanding stuff. And the star of the show, Super Ted, the Hammer, Queensland, all over it. The only thing you missed was the total, but, that was shot in the water, the total early with the big send-off. But, wow, you got your chest pumped up and you're flying.
It was a good result for the book. It was not a disastrous result for the state, but played out as expected. Some stupid selections ended up costing New South Wales big. Guess what? You pick a dickheaded chooser to go to rugby union, he makes bad decisions. Guess what? He made a bad decision. Cost the state a game. Joseph Swally, Origin career, 7 minutes. Contribution, 1 send-off. Never to be seen again. Boss clown.
Yeah, and when you jog back through some of the press, you had Spud Carroll and Elias saying they're going to target Walshall. That's worked out well for him. They targeted him in the first kick that he had, so he got smashed after the kick, and then, as you said, 7 minutes in, it was curtains. So, Ashley Klein, do you reckon he made the right call? Was it over the top? Should have been 10 minutes in the sin bin, or was it warranted?
The only person who has questioned the send-off is our friend Jeremy Scott. And Jez is off his head with that one. I do agree with Jez, but he's off his head with that one. It was the most obvious send-off of all time. He launched himself like a missile, and I know Walsh was falling, but the responsibility is on Swally. He left his feet and launched with his shoulder and connected him in the head. Reece Walsh was out for the game. It was about obvious enough. The only surprise was he lasted as long as he did on the field. He should have been marked straight away. It was very, very obvious, and he will cop a long suspension.
Outstanding stuff. All right, pack your bags. Let's move quickly into the Women's State of Origin Game 2, which is tonight. So, little double up here. We've got New South Wales $1.45 at Top Sport. The Queensland team is $2.75. Line 6.5, 35.5. The total here. Any declarations or all over the plus? Maybe.
Yeah, all over the plus. All over the plus. Not as confident as, say, like Queensland last night, but I don't know that Queensland could have played poorer in the opener, and it still ran them reasonably close. They've won majority of Origins. Queensland, they've got superstar Tamika up there. Series on the line. They're not going to want the first 3-game series, to have a dead rubber. So I think the rubber the green's going to go Queensland's way. I'd be looking at the plus. I reckon they can win the game.
Outstanding. All right, so plus 6.5 for Queensland tonight, and nice little start to the weekend. MG won't look too far back into the rearview mirror of last weekend's game. I will say we did give the umpires a massive bake, and it seems like it's a boiling point. The holding the ball rule is an absolute debacle. You're not allowed to pick the ball up anymore, and you just get pinged straight away. But the biggest head scratcher was the Melbourne Demons just not turning up against Fremantle. What the heck is going on at Demonland? Is there any rumour or scuttlebutt sniffing around to explain the performance?
Yeah, no, it was poor, Scoot. We had, it was a decent week. We had one of the best quarters of the year with Carlton beating Port, and then obviously the Bulldogs were probably the biggest plunge I would have thought for the year so far against Collingwood, and that come off as well. And then, as you said, probably the worst performance of the year by far I would have thought was Melbourne getting smashed by 92 up in Alice Springs against Freo. Unexplainable. And they've had a tough time in the last couple of days since, Scoot, trying to explain it. There's definitely some cracks they're trying to cover up at Melbourne. They had an awful off-season. They've kind of managed their way through their season until last week, and it's all come to a head. So they got a huge response game, the big freeze on Monday, which we'll discuss shortly, against Collingwood. Another team who's obviously struggling more through injuries and form. But, it was, unexplainable, very ordinary. And, if they were serious, the AFL, they'd be investigating it, wouldn't they, Scoot? Because it was not even touch football standard from Melbourne.
Yeah, it's crazy. No surprise on my end for Harley Reid to cop a couple of weeks in the Rising Star. If it was Toby Green or James Sicily, they would have got life for that same tackle. So it's good to see that the AFL are being a bit staunch there. Because it was.
Yeah, two favourites of the Rising Star out, so it's wide open now. It's about nearly 450 the field now. So. Someone who's not worthy of winning, but certainly wasn't in the running because Reid had it shot to pieces. But it's as an event is wide open now. Yeah,
it's a massive weekend of sport as well. You got the French Open tennis, you got Alcaraz and Sinner at the top of the markets there. The NBA Game 1 finals kicks off on Friday, so that's massive too. Cricket, T20 World Cup, the Olympics is just around the corner as well, so make sure you head to topsport.com.au for all your action there. Let's quickly zip through some of the premiership prices. I'll just go the first couple in the market. Sydney Swans, how are they still at $3.50? They're just absolutely streets ahead of any other competition. $6.25 Carlton, GWS $6.50 and Collingwood $7.50. The Brownlows starting to clear out as well with Nick Dacos and Heaney at the top of the market, $4 and $4.50. And Cripper's starting to lurk as well at $6.50, and as I keep saying, he is married to an umpire. The Coleman, Charlie Curno's $2.30, Benny King is $4.10, Jesse Hogan $4.60, and Mackay is $9.50. NRL Premiership prices, we've got the Panthers $3, Broncos $4.60, and $6 the Roosters. So it'll be interesting to see who navigates their way best through the Origin series. Good week for you last week, MG. You traded in and out of that Collingwood and Western Bulldogs position. So had 6 wins, 5 losses, throughout 26.5 units for a profit of plus 3.33 units at 12.57% pot, and you got your nose in front for the season. So your pot's sitting there at 1.16%. It's Origin time, so that means it's topsy-turvy in the Rugby League usual round, and 5-unit loss for you last week, Toprope, so you might have to close those legs a little bit, and your season tally starting to look pretty, it's still very, very strong at plus 17.77% and still plus 45 units profit, and the try scorer stuff has been brilliant, and the hammer last night, wowee, as soon as Suwali was off, it was just absolute hammer time. So that was a nice little sit and steer. So the anytime try scorers is a bonus. So make sure you get into the Little Birdie live shop and get around the boys, because they are still humming. And as you can tell from last night, they know what they're talking about, especially Top Row, who's just having one hell of a season. First game we're going to have a look at is the AFL, MG. And it's the Western Bulldogs versus the Brisbane Lions here. And we've got $1.53 Western Bulldogs, Brisbane Lions $2.50, line 10.5, 170.5. And Western Bulldogs would be pretty confident at the moment getting the Collingwood scalp, despite, I guess, playing a decimated side. And wow, the only team that's going worse than the New South Wales Blues is the Brisbane Lions, or maybe Melbourne Footy Club, but they're all at sea, the Brizzy Lions. They should have stayed in Vegas, probably.
Yeah, it's we skipped over the Thursday night terrible fixture. The AFL's finally got one wrong. The last Thursday night fixture of the year, and they've put up Adelaide Richmond, so we'll skip over to that. But yeah, the Bulldogs Brisbane Friday night at the Marvel is it's not a bad match here, Scoot. I think actually going to go your home state here with the Lions. I'll shade them at the plus 10.5 here. I think they're a decent price. I think the Bulldogs missing at least half their forward line is going to be some concern for them. And Brisbane don't mind coming to the Marvel. Their record's not too bad. So, offsets, Bulldogs have won their last 7 at Marvel against Brisbane, saying that. But Brisbane have covered their last 6 straight matches as underdogs at Marvel. So there's offsetting stats there. But I think the play in this game scoots the over. I think I actually went out 171. Now you can get 170, so it's actually going against me, but that's okay. We'll play on. Head-to-head, 12 of 18 have gone over between these two teams, and the Bulldogs this year, 9 of 12 in the over. So these two teams in their history have averaged 185 between them, so I think you're getting at least a good goal kick on here under the dome, perfect weather. I just think the play is the over 170.5 here, Scoot.
Okay, despite lots of forwards out for the Bulldogs, you're thinking just no tackle, free-flowing scoreathon?
Yeah, I just think the way these two play, Brisbane played Marvel pretty well. I don't think either team into shutdown, and Brisbane might play a bit loose because both teams need a win, so I don't think it'll be a defensive game. If they kick straight, they'll get the total.
Outstanding stuff. So over 170, 1.5 at Top Sport there. Rugby League on Friday night is St George Dragons versus West Tigers, and we've got the Dragons $1.39, $3 Tigers, 8.5 line, 46.5 Top Rope.
Yeah, one for the ages on Friday night, standalone game, Dragons Tigers. Not one for anyone but the purists, but we'll be in there deep, of course. 8.5. Big enough line for the Dragons are pretty inconsistent this year. They've got 3 players backing up from Origin. I suspect Ben Hunt, Zach Lomax, and Jaden Stewart all will play. No backups for the Tigers. Lean towards the Dragons. There's a good record against the Tigers. They've won 4 of the last 5. They won earlier in the year. They've covered 13 of 17 at Wollongong, which is a big push. Biggest concern here is the Tigers have covered all 7 games under Chris Butler in the last 4 years. So, worst record in the comp seems to favour the worst team in the comp. So, a little concern there, but probably a small end than minus, but very, very keen under in this one. The under is 21-8 between these two since 2008. They tend to live defensively for each other because this is typically one of the few games either side can win in a year. So, big Tigers on an 8-game losing streak. Dragons kind of nudging up the table for winning against Penrith. Both teams will be knuckling down for this. The under 11-6 won the Dragons play all 9-3 with the Tigers conceding 40+. I reckon you can bet the under with confidence.
Big total there, 46.5. So we'll play the under in the St George Dragons West Tigers match. Let's have a look at AFL. It's the Saturday fixture here. They're going to have a look at, and it's St Kilda versus Gold Coast Suns, and the Suns are favourite away despite not winning yet. $1.77 at Top Sport, $2 the Saints, 2.5 the line, 163.5 the total. I thought they were pretty good, the Suns. Like, a little bit inaccurate last time against the Essendon Bombers, some would say, but I thought they steeled themselves in the dry conditions, and I guess the forecast rain never hit. But I thought the Suns did enough, and maybe they've turned the corner a little bit more, MG.
Yeah, it's the only thing holding back here, Scoot, your state. I'm going to follow the Queensland theme here. I think this is the one the Gold Coast have got to step up. St Kilda are completely shot for mine. They just play ugly football, directionless, no structure. They've got a terrible record at Marvel this year, which is their home ground. They've only won 1 of 4, so it's not a highlight. But yeah, I mean, I know home ground advantage is obviously something, Scoop, but if this was at the Gold Coast, it'd be, they'd be favourites by 20 or more. They are 0-5 away, so it's a bad record. In Victoria, their record's shocking, but if they're going to play final, Scoot, they've got to knock off sides like St Kilda, and I think it's a cheap way to find out -2 around there. I would have it closer to 8 or 10. I'm not sure the market's going to move too much because of the Gold Coast away record and it's well advertised. But, the stat that gets me is St Kilda have now lost 13 straight playing against opposition teams higher on the ladder. So they've both got healthy lists. I just can't have St Kilda anymore. They just play ugly football, low scoring games. I think the total's about right. Had it 160. It's come out 163. So I don't think there's an edge there. But I'm keen to find out the Gold Coast if they can win away from home. This is a cheap one for them. If they can't win this, they won't play finals. Yeah,
outstanding. I'm going to step into it well. So first time I can take the 2.5 with a little bit of confidence, and I love it's pretty obvious. I love beating up against the Saints as well. Let's have a look at Broncos versus Sharks on Saturday night. Top row, $1.62 Broncos, Sharks 2.30, line 3.5, and the total here is 46.5 points.
Yeah, line dropped after Reece Walsh was ruled out last night. He obviously won't play. A few Broncos are back up. I think everyone else will back up. They tend to back up Carrigan, Haas, all those guys. So we'll see there. Nico Hines was not named for the Sharks, so will not play. And Cameron McInnes likely will back up. Didn't play a lot of minutes last night. So that's the Origin wrap-up. Reasonably keen on the Broncos here and reasonably keen on the over, but kind of confidence capped by the fact so many key playmakers are out. So Broncos good record against the Sharks, 1-9 the last 11, covered 15-24, dating back to 2008. A few angles here for the Broncos. 18-5 against the spread at Suncorp of a loss. 10-3 against the spread at Suncorp off conceding 30+. So good bounce back team when they're at home. No knock on the Sharks this year. They travel well, 6-1 against the spread in a state. The only real worry against them is 4-11 against the spread against top 5 teams. mixed form this year, went and knocked off the Chooks, went and knocked off the Storm, but they got absolutely towed by the Panthers. So, few concerns there, Nico, as well. So, jumping into the over here as well, some good over angles here. Broncos big over team at Suncorp 8-3, 5-1 to the over off a bye, and the Sharks have gone over the total the last 5 at night, 11-6 the over, off conceding 32 plus, but the over for the Sharks is their defence has gone to absolute war the last few weeks. So Broncos can score points. So I think there'll be a few in this one.
Lean Broncos. Quick one-word answer if you like, and keep it short regardless. Nicho Hynes, will he get the Chaminda for Game 2 Origin, in your opinion?
Born.
Lovely. All right.
You wanted it short.
I love it. Sunday night, it's obviously the Queen's birthday or the King's birthday weekend down in Melbourne, so that's why you're getting a 7:20 match at the MCG. Essendon versus Carlton. The crowd will be monstrous here. $1.48 the Blues, $2.60 the Bombrays, 12.5 the line, 169.5 the total here. Look very, very big odds here. The Bombers, this grudge match.
Yeah, yes, it's the back end fixture this week, Scooty. The best 3 games of the last 3 games, and obviously we've got the Monday game as well coming up. But yeah, we've got a chance on target anyway, Scoot, to have the first time in AFL history to have back-to-back games of 90,000 plus in a home away crowd. So it'll be interesting to see if they can get that into the Collingwood Melbourne game on the Monday. But yeah, this game's a cracker, Scoot. Hard to find a play in this game. Tend to. I'm still not convinced on Essendon's side. I thought they were, again, bad kicking cost the team a win, and that's what happened on against the Gold Coast. Your team, if they'd kick straight, they win the game. So they might rue that towards the end of the season in terms of ladder positions. I was kind of keen on Carlton going into this, Scoop, but it's just come up where I can't squeeze a lemon out to get a bet because it's it's just come up too much around the number. So I think the market's right. I don't think it'll move too far. There is a good stat where the underdog is 12 of 13, so 12-1 against Carlton games. The underdog has won the game, so that's a pretty convincing stat for Essendon supporters if you like the +10, +11. I think the total's about right. There's a bit of a weather watch around, Scoot. They keep forecasting rain in Melbourne of late, but it never seems to arrive, so we'll just wait on the total. I think it's about the right number now, but obviously if conditions change, we might have a late play there. But yeah, I think Carlton will get the job done. I just can't find a bet in the game. If you were going to bet, you probably play maybe the margins 1-24, 1-39 if you're going to scratch out a bet there, Scoop. But yeah, should be a cracking game in front of a big crowd.
It should be an absolute beauty, that, and the prime time slot. And just love that it's at 7:20. That's the go. These 8 o'clock games are tough going for the masses. All right, weather watch there, so we'll see what happens there, but all over the plus for me as a free bet. Let's have a look at the Sunday afternoon game, Penrith Panthers versus Manly Seagulls, Toprope, $1.35, the Panthers at home, $3.20 Manly, 8.5 the line, 43.5 the total. Who do you like?
I've got a bit of Penrith here. Well, first I thought I'd be kind of coming into Manly here, but Penrith off a loss. There's no better bet than 40. 15-3 against the spread off a loss, 6-1 against the spread off a double-digit loss. 10-2 against the spread of conceding 20 plus. They just bounce back. They are not a team that wallows in their own misery. They bounce back. They know how to do it. They've got a few in Origin, but I expect they will all play with the point. But I expect the rest will show up. 23-11 against the spread at Penrith Stadium. Not a notable stat. 10-2 against the spread at Penrith Stadium as a favourite of less than 10 points. So no knock on Manly. They've covered only 8 of 19 against the spread as an 8.5 point underdog. I think that there is a bit of value on Penrith. I think this one will start double digits, so small bit Penrith.
Thoughts on DCE last night? I thought he was pretty serviceable for the Maroons.
I thought he was excellent. I backed him from out of the match, so I was very happy to see him get it. So well done, DCE. Thanks very much, champ. Which is just a little bit of a shock. We're just running through. I don't know what it's like in other sports in the match, but those who bet man of the match know that there's one thing you do not want to see after the game. It's the player you've back being interviewed before they award man of the match. And the hammer on one betting agency when bookmaking closed was $1.30 to win man of the match on us. So, and that was before he scored the last try. So there was a lot of people thinking Hammer was an absolute certainty. I thought he was going to get the gong. So when I saw the Hammer get interviewed early. Yes, we're an absolute runner here with a great daily chairman. So he's a great player, underrated player. History will look very kind on the career he's had.
Couldn't agree more. He's an absolute beauty. Monday is a traditional game for, let's call it the King's birthday. Collingwood versus Melbourne Demons, always a cracker. And maybe they've just got they've kept the powder dry looking at this one, the Ds, but they'll need to improve a lot. I'm not sure what's happening with the team changes, but MG, you can reel these soon. $1.76 the Pies, $2.02 the Demons, 3.5 the line, and 165.5. How are you going to play this one?
Yeah, this is probably going to be the main betting match actually for the week, Scoot. Market came up pick, starting to move to Collingwood now. I couldn't see how it was pick, and I think one or two joints actually had Melbourne a point favourite, which defies logic for mine. Strong play Collingwood here. Taken the 196. I think was the top price available head to head. Scoot. Keen on Collingwood. Both lost last week. Collingwood were okay in patches against the Bulldogs. I know they got a lot of players out. Just can't come into Melbourne. Scoot. Besides last week, now they've lost 3 of their last 4. They're out of form. They were going well, but I think they were playing easy part of their draw. I don't know. They've got internal problems. Something will come out, but I'm just not sure they can turn it around against Collingwood, who are undermanned. That's probably the hold up. If they had half dozen teams, especially in the front half, they'd be a lot stronger favourites. But I think the money will come for Collingwood. I just can't see the support for Melbourne. They've won 12 of their last 18 against them, Scoot, in the head-to-head Collingwood, and I just think I just can't come into Melbourne. So I think the under total is something I'm keen on. I think there's a little bit of weather around, but even so, they open up 167. I think it's down to 165 now. I just think the main stat here you've got to follow through is Collingwood in the month of June. 9 of their last 10 have gone under, and Melbourne's 4 of their last 5 games have gone under. So both teams really struggle to score in their history of the last 18 games. They're only averaging 153. So I think you're getting a fair free kick in the unders here. And the only way Melbourne are going to try and control this game is be defensive. Collingwood love playing defensive games. They'll try and eke out a small win. But pretty keen on Collingwood to win, and under 167.5 the total.
Ooh, sounds like a chips in job. So cheer the Pies hard and kick the living daylights out of Melbourne like the rest of the footy community and footy world are doing. So more troubled times for the D. So good while they lasted, the bit of flash in the pan there. Let's have a look at the Monday afternoon game up in Sydney, and you got Parramatta Eels $1.74, 2.10 the Bulldogs, and 2.5 the line, 46.5 the total. Top rope.
Bulldogs back. Bulldogs are just quietly. They are. For the first time in about 8 years, are back, I think. So, just one stellar note here. Trent Barrett won 13 of his last 60 games as a coach.
Here it comes. Here it comes.
and those playing little dirty bingo, the morals. Couple of little stats here. The Eels have dominated this matchup, but the Dogs have been rubbish over the last little period. But the underdog covers at 60% when 2 bottom 9 teams play. And the Trent Barrett stats. So I'll be back on the Dogs. I think Burton will be pretty annoyed about being made out of men and not getting to play last week and not playing Origin. So I think he'll be in for a big game. They're playing a bit wider, and they're very vulnerable on their edges, the Eels. And they're obviously much better with Gutho and Moses back on the team, but Bulldogs have been playing better for longer this season. I'm happy to be with the Bulldogs as well. I was surprised that's why. So hopefully this isn't head over heart, because if there's one thing I prefer more than the Bulldogs win, it would be a Parramatta loss. So can be clouded this game, so be careful on that one, but I do like the Dogs as well. I
do love that it's just starting to spill out into the Twitter sphere with a couple of Madge Maguire's fans sticking up and trying to put the boot into Toprope, and thank Christ for Toprope. It was all over in 7 minutes.
I would have taken the boot compared to what was being offered to me there, last night. But look, I'll clip the not liking Madge, because I don't really care either way about Madge. I just thought his team selection was horrific. But love and hate, one different sides of the same coin, and would love to see the Blues pick the right team and come out and win the series. Hopefully they do for Series 2. But anyway, old mate can enjoy his special bag.
Yeah, I think the person on Twitter wanted to put a dump into a paper bag and leave it on Nick Tedeschi's doorstep. So no one dox him, no one give out his address. He can do his best to try and find him. But huge win and a huge tipping performance last night again from Toprope. But make sure you strap yourself in for the Women's State of Origin because he's that sick. He's going to back up again here, plus 6.5 for the Queensland women to get the show rolling for this weekend. And make sure you head to the Little Birdie shop for MG and Nick Tedeschi's insights. I think it's $25 a week for MG and $33 for Nick Tedeschi as well. So if you're not a believer after last night, you'll just never be. And MG, he's starting to do some real big grubbery betting 1 and 2 rounds ahead and just absolutely tearing bookmakers' heads off for prices. So it's good to see. If they're asleep at the wheel, you may as well punch him in the nose and give him a bit of a wake-up call. So love what you're doing there, MG. And there's just so much good sport on at the moment. So get around the boys. But that's a wrap from me. Any final thoughts, MG?
Yeah, on the early prices for the AFL, whoever's working at Bet365, don't sack them for the rest of the year. And keep going up first. You're doing a great job.
Nice little side swipe. All right, that's a wrap from us. We've tried to keep it short and sweet, and good luck if you're betting on the weekend. And it looks like it's going to be a great back half of the week with sport, especially in the AFL world. God, we've glossed over Hawks for the flag, but tell you what, big chance they upset GWS, and the Hawks are the destination club. They are back, MG.
Yeah, and they've been well back, Scoot, and I think they're a play as well. They'll get much closer to picking by game time for mine.
All right. Tune in next week too. I'm going to be in the cat suit. I've got it in front of me. I've got this ready for the next major golf. I've even got the cat makeup and the boys are looking for 3 in a row in the majors too. So if you want to see me dressed up as a cat, it'd be worth screenshotting that one, and hopefully the boys can go 3 from 3 in the majors podcast. Otherwise, we'll see you back next Thursday for the sports show. Good luck this weekend on the punt.